London Tonight with Nina Hussain.
Good evening. The Dean of St Paul's has resigned over the protest camp outside the cathedral. The Right Reverend Graham Knowles said it was time for new leadership. He is the second major casualty from the church host hierarchy. Its Canon Chancellor Giles Fraser resigned at the end of last week. Let's get reaction to today's developments now from Sharon Thomas, who's at St Paul's tonight. Sharon.
Well, welcome to St Paul's in what has been another absolutely remarkable day in the twisting and turning tale of this story over the last couple of weeks. The second high-profile resignation was announced at a news conference this afternoon. The Bishop of London, Dr. Richard Charters, said it was a tragedy that his friend, the Right Reverend Graham Knowles, who is the Dean of St Paul's Cathedral, had resigned in a late-night telephone call to him last night. He said he's very close personal friends with the Dean and his wife Susan. He was very shocked, very saddened to hear of the news. And he now, the Bishop of London, Dr. Charters, is now going to take this forward. He will be coming here trying to negotiate with the protesters to see how things can be now moved on and to see how they can try and possibly tackle and to unearth what could be possibly a resolution to what he says has been the most challenging week in St Paul's 300-year history.
If you wish to be blessed, I'm more than happy to bless you.
This was the Right Reverend Graham Knowles addressing protesters at St Paul's just hours before he handed in his resignation late last night. He was the one who made the initial announcement that the cathedral had closed its doors for the first time since the Second World War.
We have no lawful alternative but to close St Paul's Cathedral.
As the protest continued, it was him who asked them to move on. Today, the man who devoted his life to his ministry paid with the job he loved. In a statement, he said the past fortnight has been a testing time for the chapter and for me personally. In order to give the opportunity for a fresh approach to the complex and vital questions facing St Paul's, I have thought it best to stand down as Dean to allow new leadership to be exercised. I do this with great sadness, but I now believe I am no longer the right person to lead the chapter of this great cathedral. The anti-capitalist protest has now claimed its second victim. This latest resignation follows that of Canon Chancellor of St Paul's Giles Fraser, who has stood up for the protesters. The Bishop of London, Dr. Richard Charters, now says he has been asked to find a way forward. He appears to rule out eviction, citing that the church could not sanction violence of any sort.
What the chapter is absolutely clear about is that the last thing they would condone is the use of violence in securing the enforcement of any orders. Obviously, any prudent organisation has to map and explore the legal territory because, we don't know what's going to happen as the protest evolves. We simply don't.
Meanwhile, the protesters donned Halloween-themed face masks this afternoon, a sign that this encampment could be haunting St Paul's for months to come. Well, the protesters have now been here for 16 days, and I thought it was very interesting this afternoon in the news conference that Dr. Charters talked about weeks and possibly months ahead of this. But I'm joined now by one of the campaigners here, Spiro. First of all, what's your reaction to today's resignation?
Obviously, this is sad news for everyone. This was never our intention. We are here to challenge the unsustainable financial system that seems to benefit a handful of banks. However, it is obvious that the management of the cathedral has been divided over the decisions they have taken.
Well, yes, but you've effectively cost two very high-profile clergymen their jobs, haven't you?
Well, it seems that the cathedral cannot come to an agreement to whether they should stand by our side or against us. So this is an internal issue, really.
Don't you think the public sympathy for you is now waning? You may have had them on your side, possibly in some circles at first, but surely many must feel public sympathy for you is dwindling.
Yes, we receive support every day, and this confirms the reason why we are here, because we are providing this democratic forum that has given us the opportunity to touch issues that have been ignored by mainstream politics.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening. Well, that's pretty much it from us here at St Paul's tonight. There are about 220 tents here this evening, so they're full to capacity, and as Dr. Charters was saying, they could possibly be here for weeks, maybe even months to come.
Sharon Thomas, our guest, many thanks.